Looking for the cutest new travel pieces for your adventure wardrobe? Then shop Best Dressed. From gorgeous sundresses to adorable bikinis and cozy sweaters, Best Dressed has the perfect travel pieces for any vacation destination. Check them out at shopbestdressed.com and use code TRAVELBRAT20 for 20% off the entire store. Hey there, are you looking to sell your home the for sale by owner way? Then check out Listella. Listella is an online real estate platform where you can directly buy and sell homes with no negotiations and no commission. Sellers save the 6% they would typically pay an agent, and buyers can find and buy a home in as little as 14 days. The best part? If you're a Travel Brats listener and you list your home on Listella, you'll get 20% off the listing fee with code TRAVEL. That's capital TRAVEL. Check them out at listella.com or download the Listella app today.
Hey y'all.
I'm Soph.
And I'm Nat.
And we're the Travel Brats.
Welcome to our podcast.
We've been putting the brat in travel
Since 2020.
and we're just getting started.
From hidden gems to world-class travel.
We've been sharing hot and not destinations from a bird's eye view and a
Party of two. So what's on the itinerary today?
Hey, Travel Brats. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Today, I am very excited because I am back with travel experts Heather Dowd and Beppe Salerno for our third and final episode on the 20 regions of Italy. So today, we're going to be completing those 20 regions for you guys. Hey, Heather. Hey, Beppe. Welcome back.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Glad to be here.
Ciao. All right, guys, let's just jump right into it. Our Travel Brats. If you guys haven't listened to episode 1, go check it out. And if you haven't listened to episode 2 with them, check out those other 10 regions because now we are on Sardinia. So, guys, tell me about Sardinia.
So Sardinia is the island you see in the middle of the Mediterranean, Corsica right above it, and Sardinia right in the middle of the Mediterranean. It's very rural. Very few people live there, and mostly in the capital region, Cagliari, in the south. It has the most amazing coastline of Europe. But it does have a mountain range in the middle as well. For what we do, it's a great destination because the bike riding there is really stunning. It's got its own culture, history, traditions. Our Sardinian guides are very proud of considering themselves Sardinian and Italian. So they really feel Sardinia before feeling Italian. I'm not saying in a controversial way, but it's just the way they're attached to their land. Food is different as well, and they have shepherds have mostly inland. In spite of being an island, due to historical reasons, seafood has never been really the main dish there.
No, I think that surprises people the most, right? But because of that, because of the very tall mountain range they have in the middle of the island to shield themselves from attacks, all of the towns are up in the mountains, and so the cuisine is based on animals and not as much from the sea. Cheese as well, yeah.
Cheese, pork. So go there for the pristine coastline. If you like hiking and cycling, doesn't get better than inland Sardinia.
Also, another place where you really feel how ancient the place is. They actually have these ancient structures called nuraghi. Is that how you say it? Yeah, and they're not even really sure how far back they go or what they were about, but there's these ancient structures that you can visit. They're like little circular, I don't want to even call them a tower. They're not that tall. Who knows, maybe they were taller. But it just gives you such a sense of how ancient and mystical this place is. And as Beppe said, our guides, but just every Sardinian is so proud, and they of their culture, of their language, of their traditions. You can feel like you're just going back in time there with everything. It's just a really special feeling to be on that island.
I was going to say, got ahead there. I mean, I think that one of the most neat things about about old Europe, especially Italy, is just some of those towns where you really just do feel medieval. There's castles left and old churches. And I mean, this particular region sounds really neat with the mountains, just being high up in the mountains. And like you said, Heather, kind of mystical, magical. You've got old structures and really old buildings. And so do you guys, I know you mentioned that it's a lot of poultry, farm animals, cheese. Is there a dish that you guys really like here?
They have their own type of pasta called a fregola.
Mhm.
It's semolino flour and water, very simple.
It's a little bit bigger. It's almost the consistency of like a pearl couscous, like the bigger couscous, but not as round. A little bit bigger and not quite as round, but about that size. It's really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
A controversial product from here, though. What's the name of that cheese? The
Casumarzu.
Casumarzu cheese, which
They cannot market it, they sold locally. How do you describe it?
well, it's got little maggots in it,
Yeah.
right? And that's how it's eaten. It's a very local cheese. Yeah, and they also use just all parts of the animal. They cure meats inside of like pig stomachs and intestines, right? And so there's some for the adventurous eater. This is a region where the ancient practices are still alive, and you can experience them. Also, just some other pasta shapes that are only practiced by a handful of women in a local village, so that type of level. Also, this area is known, I don't know if you or your listeners are familiar with the blue zones, these areas of the world. I think there have been 7 of them identified where we have a high concentration of people living to be 100 years old. So there's an area of Sardinia kind of in the northeast or middle eastern part that's been designated as a blue zone. But I guess we could call the whole island a blue zone. I mean, just with their lifestyle, the way they eat, the way they live their life. We have a high concentration of people living a long time and living a very good quality of life. So just not making it to an old age, but still with it sharp physically and mentally and just enjoying themselves.
Well, there must be something to maggots then. Just
Maybe.
we should
Wash
do
it
some
down.
research.
With moderation.
Very good red wine, a Cannonau red wine, which is got a like high level of polyphenols, even more than other red wines. It's been studied, so it's like super good for your health. So that could be it too.
Yeah, wow, that's really interesting. Definitely a place to hit. And again, for the adventurous eater, but I'm sure you can have pasta. You don't have to have maggot cheese.
Of course, there's all the
And a
regular.
wine. Yeah. Everywhere in Italy, when in doubt, pasta and wine. Oh, that's great. And so just to touch on the names of the coast. So you've got the Adriatic coast, which you said was so beautiful, and then the mountains are the Apennine Mountains.
Yes. So the Adriatic coast is part of the Mediterranean. Okay. Okay. Mediterranean is the general term. Then we divide the Mediterranean with Adriatic, Tyrrhenian, Ionian Sea. Okay. So Sardinia is in the middle of the Mediterranean. The part the part of the Mediterranean Sea between Sardinia and the Italian coast is the Tyrrhenian Sea. Okay. We have got many hundreds of miles of coastline, mountain ranges. Italy is a fairly small country, but the variety of landscapes is it's important. We go from mountains, 4,000-meter high mountains to archipelagos and everything in between.
Wow. Yeah. Very diverse. All right, you guys, I want to move on now to, and you're going to have to help me with this one, Beppe. Liguria.
Liguria. It's a coastal region, but quite mountainous. Okay. It's small. It's a narrow sliver of land, almost the shape of an arch. Okay.
This is my least favorite region to drive in, or even to be the passenger in a car.
Scary.
You go from mountains to cliffs and then the sea.
Wow.
The roads are very narrow, and it's just a series of tunnels and bridges, even on the highway, that are quite windy. and narrow. And we've got trucks. I mean, it's totally safe, right? And the Italians, they all drive crazy and fast, but they know what they're doing. But for an American who's used to a certain amount of personal space in a car and then with wider lanes, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I could see that.
Once you get where you're going, I always prefer to take the train in this region. And yeah, as Beppe said, beautiful coastline. We've got the Cinque Terre, the 5 villages, of course, which is an area, one of the areas that is beginning to suffer from over tourism. Also, a lot of just it's a very fragile ecosystem there in coastline. So there's the landslides that happen all the time. So they're constantly having to close down trails and monitor how many people are on certain trails each day. In order to hike on the trails in the Cinque Terre, you need to purchase an entrance card. So there are a lot of regulations around that. You can visit all the little towns though by train and also by boat, which is our preferred method of visiting the town. So if you have the means to do that, then you can get a private boat or do some of the public boats. Also, many of the villages outside of the Cinque Terre, so those are the five famous ones, but all up and down the coast, you've got wonderful little towns. And then, of course, the capital of Genoa, which is one of Italy's maritime republics. Again, another strong, bold history in this area. So Genoa was, another city with lots of palaces, lots of money, lots of power and influence in its time.
Beautiful. It sounds beautiful.
Pesto sauce comes from there, and they also have very good seafood, anchovies. Pesto is the staple pasta dressing from Liguria, and now is known all over the world. But they say the authentic pesto is only from there because they have a special type of basil. You have to certain to know which leaves to pick for basil. So
that's right. It's a small
it's
basil.
an easy recipe, but they master it, and I mean, when you have pesto there, you understand that tiny details can make the difference.
That's
Also
great. I
very
love pesto.
Yeah, very good focaccia here. And then they also produce olive oil, very different from olive oil in the south of Italy. It's light, less, the flavors aren't as overwhelming, which is great. So it goes well with the lighter fare of their seafood and the focaccia, right? You don't want the olive oil to overpower, right, those flavors. So local foods going together very well. So the local olive oil is what is put in the focaccia. And then one of my most favorite things to eat in all of Italy comes from this area, a very special type of focaccia that can only be made in 2 towns, including one of my favorite little towns in all of Italy called Camogli, my little secret fun place I like to go to at least once a year on my own. And I just brought my family there when they came to visit a few months ago. They make a special type of focaccia that is filled with a local cheese. And it is just bread and olive oil and cheese baked into this delicious sheet. And you can get it hot and fresh and just eat it. But it's a product that, to be certified as this type of focaccia, which is the focaccia di Recco, it has to be made in either the town of Recco or the town of Camogli with certain ingredients. So if you're ever in that area, definitely get the focaccia.
Wow, that is special. That sounds delicious. Oh, well, okay. Liguria is definitely a place to hit. And now, again, is it Marche or Marseille?
Marche.
Marche. All right.
So Marche. So we are central Italy on the Adriatic side. Okay, so eastern side. It's a fairly small region, but I think it has the highest concentration of Michelin star restaurants.
Wow.
And their cuisine is mostly around seafood. They really master the preparation of quality seafood. But they also have the Apennine mountain range, and between the Apennine mountain range and the coastline, you have hill country, which is perfect for bike riding. With the Borden region, Emilia-Romagna is one of the best destinations for cycle tourism, in our opinion. So medieval villages, it's quintessential Italy, but not as known as Tuscany or other regions, or Sicily, or even Piedmont. But Marche, if you've been to Italy more than once, you're looking for something different, still authentic, you should be looking at Marche.
Or
in
to
my opinion.
splurge on some of those Michelin star restaurants. Like,
Yes.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an under the radar region where they're just living their lives and going about their day, and
Yeah.
it just feels.
Yeah, very nice people, very
Yeah.
kind. Some of the kindest people we know are from the market, so
Mm.
they're very humble and hardworking.
Mm. I love that most of the regions we've talked about, that is something that you guys mentioned, where not every country is like that, especially with tourists, just being welcoming. And I feel like it's similar to maybe the Spanish or Latin culture in a sense, where like they really do like new people and other cultures, and come on in, I'll feed you and welcome and see our country, learn our language, things like that. So it's always fun for tourists to experience that. And now, guys, I want to talk about Abruzzo.
Okay, Abruzzo. We feel that Abruzzo deserves more than what it's getting in terms of tourism. And when we went there, we were invited just before COVID, I think. Just before COVID, we were invited by the the tourism board of the region of Abruzzo for a fam trip. And it really opened our eyes to the opportunities that are there, and to the quality of the tourism offer. Hotels were great. It just needs to be packaged and marketed. I think it's a region from seacoast to ski resorts, it's got it all.
Yeah, they've just invested a ton of money in a beautiful cycle path that goes all along the coast. And their coastline is interesting. They have these structures that get rebuilt every year. They're called trabocchi, which are traditional like fishing piers. They're not used anymore for fishing, right? Or maybe a couple of them, but it's really an ancient way of fishing. Now a lot of them are used as restaurants. So you can get a really nice seafood meal like out overhanging the ocean or overhanging the sea in these trabocchi, which they're made of just like wooden sticks. Like some of them are quite rustic, others are a little bit more robust, but they're rebuilt each year, right? Because they cannot withstand the full 4 seasons. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting coastline where they've put a lot of money in to welcome people. Now you can rent bikes along there. We've met some of the bike rental suppliers, and you can ride for the day, get beautiful seafood. Inland, there's really stuff all year round. They have some high mountains there, a lot of ski resorts, right?
National parks.
Yeah. So we're not just talking like rolling hills, but you can do some you can do outdoor activities year round in there. They're keeping some old traditions alive, like the transumanza, is that how you say it?
Yep.
Which is the shepherding. Is like bringing the sheep from one area to the other for the different seasons, and you can watch this. So out in the countryside, they're still practicing these old traditions.
It's amazing. They have their own street food, which is called rosticini. Skewers.
Yeah, little skewers with
skewers with mix of meat, and they cook them on the side of along the road. But there are many other good dishes and wine in Abruzzo.
Well, that sounds amazing. It's interesting, this region, because I've heard it's one of the greenest regions in Italy, and also the nature you guys talked about. I've heard it has 3 national parks. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's I mean, if you're into hiking at high elevation and with proper equipment, you can have amazing adventures in Abruzzo. Consider it's in the south of Italy. You're not in the Alps. It's quite unique, but in Abruzzo there are the highest peaks of the Apennine mountain range. So you have it all. You have the beautiful coastline, you have high mountains within an hour of driving. So you can ski and look at the coast, sea coast. It's neat.
Gorgeous.
And also, isn't this the region? So one of my favorite towns here is Ascoli Piceno.
Ascolpiceno, no, it's
Oh, that's over.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about that later. It's like right on the border.
It's a
Right on the border.
Yeah.
So in between Marche and Abruzzo is
yes,
Ascoli
the Marche
Piceno.
side, yeah.
On the Marche side, let's be precise here, but they have, I want to talk about it because we didn't then, I think it was on this trip. They have an olive that they stuff with meat and bread and then fry.
Yeah.
The best.
Olive all'ascolana.
Mhm.
Olives the Ascoli way. Olive all'ascolana.
Yeah. so
Olive
it's-
ascolane. Mhm.
Mhm. So yeah, little side note there, but those olives are to die for if you're in the area.
Oh, I'll have to get that. You're either an olive person or you're not an olive person.
That's a special.
Yeah. Neat. Well, let's move on to
Friuli, Venezia, Giulia. We often shorten it and we simply say Friuli.
Friuli. Okay, that sounds good to me. That's easier.
Yes.
And now this is a very small region of Italy, right?
Yeah, it's a small region between Veneto, so a more important region, and the border with Austria and Slovenia. Okay, the part of the Alps are called the Julian Alps. Okay, on the other side of the Alps you have Austria and Slovenia. Main town Trieste, a port town, very elegant city center, very good university. The whole region has during World War I and World War II been right at the border, and so it was it changed side okay during and after World War I. So you get the feeling of being in a special place where people were forcibly displaced, or at one point they find themselves in a new country because of past war treaties. And I think they're really doing well with tourism because they are keeping their authenticity, and that shows in the message. Okay, they want to promote what they have, not promise what they cannot offer. Okay, but what they have, it's interesting, and they're proud of the landscape. I think they are one of the regions where people feel more they feel like the ecology is important when it comes to tourism. Some of our favorite wines come from there, from the area of the Collio production area. For instance, the Great White Wine, the Schioppettino, it's one of our favorite red wines. So the mountains, coastline, and beautiful. So there is a very famous in Europe bike path that goes from Austria and finishes in Grado in Friuli Venezia Giulia. Sometimes we run tours on this bike path.
Yeah, beautiful infrastructure for cycling. Also, just for getting around as a tourist. It's very green, very welcoming. As Beppe said, the history is fascinating. For any World War I buffs, also, you can visit outdoor museums and also indoor museums and relive the battles, tell the story of what happened during that time. So it's interesting. Again, as an American who learned about the wars from our perspective as something happening over there, and and our part in that, but to actually be in the place where it happened is and to hear, especially from these people who have lived in the same place and the border switched, so that one day they were in Italy, another day they were in another country ruled by one and another, and just to hear their stories is fascinating.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, it's interesting. have heard, it sounds like from what I've heard from you guys, that it's getting a little more touristy here. I knew that it was initially the least kind of touristy or visited location or region of them all, but I think it's fascinating. You've got the sandy beaches, you've got the rocky hiking locations near the mountains, and then it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And again, like you said, with that World War II history, and I would be fascinated to even, go back to the Roman Empire history that they still have there, which is amazing. So again, very interesting region. It's a little under traveled. Hopefully that increases. And now I want to transition a little bit and talk about Trentino, South or Tyrol.
See, there are two sub-regions, let's call them, Trentino and Sud Tirol or Sud Tirol, or in Italian also call it Alto Adige. So Trentino is a bit is the part of the region with Italian tradition. Sud Tirol is the part of tradition with the Austrian tradition. So German language. German is the main language in the Sud Tirol portion. Okay, so many people don't know, but we have some special regions with special laws in the provinces that can rule in certain areas, such as education. Okay, how they manage the school system, because they are on the border with respect the diversity and the heritage of those places. So the two provinces of Trento, Trentino, and Sud Tirolo, Bolzano are together and form the region of Trentino, Sud Tirolo. It's mostly about the Dolomites. Okay, Dolomites, winter tours with amazing ski resorts, but also more and more cycling, both along cycling paths in the valleys, and for more ambitious riders, there are the major mountain passes to be conquered. So I mean, it's popular. Dolomites is a brand at this point, and we get many requests about
It is.
Dolomites.
It's beautiful, and yeah, that cycling is not for the beginner, right? But the hiking, so many wonderful hiking opportunities, skiing, another year-round destination. The capital, the Sud Tirol side, Bolzano, or Bozen as they call it in German, is often or almost always rated as the best quality of life in all of Italy. It's like the joy of life that the Italians have with the German efficiency, right? So really everything is clean, the infrastructure works, everything looks perfect, but you can still get a good cup of coffee and you're Italian. It's a wonderful mix of the two languages, and they're the two cultures, and they're so proud of that. The food up there, of course, right? You can go to a German style beer hall, get bratwurst, goulash, things like that. They also have different pasta dishes, but again, with that like German Austrian influence, a lot of deer, really good deer meat up there. Very nice white wines, also some good lighter red wines. Yeah, and then getting away from the Dolomites, which are beautiful, you have the rest of the Alps. We like to do a lot on the Trentino side as well. Less traffic, still opportunities for more serious cyclists, but also riding along cycle paths for families or those who don't want to do things that are as strenuous. But yeah, just beautiful, clean, efficient, lots of history. Very interesting area.
Yeah, I think it's the region with the best cycle infrastructure of all of Italy.
Wow. And I've heard of Lake Garda. Have you guys been to?
Yes, so the northern part of Lake Garda is Trentino. So yeah, Lake Garda is pretty. Many Germans go there. It's their Riviera. So yeah,
Another beautiful year-round region.
Yes, for sure.
And now I want to move to Umbria.
Umbria, yes, right in the center of the Italian peninsula, we have Umbria. Okay, very green. They branded themselves as the green heart of Italy. Okay, they don't have a coastline, so they're bordered with other regions, but they don't have a coastline on their own. So it's true. It's very green. We have waterfalls, beautiful forest, medieval towns. I mean, we don't probably is overshadowed by other places, okay? And maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe they don't feel like tourism is their thing. But if you are even in Rome, a trip to Umbria is very easy to organize, no? So if you're in Rome, spend a couple of days in Umbria, you know, get away from the crowd.
Yeah, for nature lovers, also again, food lovers, a lot of legumes come from there. I would say that's my favorite thing about the region. I love lentils. They have very good lentils and other products. And it's something different. I mean, we've said over and over again, we probably sound like a broken record at this point, the mountains and the coastline of each region. Well, this region doesn't have the coastline, so it's all just the green rolling hills in the center of Italy, at a crossroads of all these different places. So it's definitely worth taking stopping there, even if you're going from one place to another. It's right there and worth a visit. We go there, we don't have any public tours there, but we've gone there with many private groups, again, who want something a little off the beaten path and want to get into nature.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds beautiful. I've heard it has the second tallest waterfall in the entirety of Europe. And again, if it's the only landlocked region, that's unique and different. And, just like you said, the countryside, sometimes it's nice to change it up a little bit. And now you guys, I want to move on to Basilicata.
Basilicata, so we're back in the south of Italy, okay? It's the region between Puglia and Campania, okay? If you can picture the boat, okay, the big gulf, okay? That's where Basilicata used to be part of Puglia, or better, the Basilicata and Puglia were together politically, but now Basilicata is its own region. It's fairly small. It's a fairly small region. Nowadays is known thanks to Matera, its main tourism site. Matera is the town which has been continuously inhabited for 7,000 years.
Wow.
And so it's a town where the city center is made out of caves, and then there's the new part of town, of course. But the Sassi, the old town, the caves are still inhabited. That's now the main tourism part of Matera. I mean, Matera must be experienced, and trust me when I say that if you're in the south of Italy, you want to try to see for yourself.
Sounds very different. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially with the caves.
unique. It's like literally you travel back in time, and I mean, we go to Matera with our tours, or we suggest to make it there as a tour extension. Okay. Around Matera is mostly farmland, wheat fields, small villages. So yes, mostly farmland. And interesting, Basilicata is where at some point they started finding some oil. They started drilling oil, but then it was so little that the project was abandoned. We don't have oil in Italy, and we had to rely on other things for our economy. Of course, places like Matera can claim the spot as a big driver for tourism, and for of course that's in Basilicata, farming and tourism are the two main economic engines.
Right.
Interesting wine region there. Also, some very good reds. Also, the region also has a giant zip line
Yes.
It's just for
Hey.
the thrill seekers, right? There's not a lot of towns, not a lot going on in the countryside, but there is this giant zip line that connects
Volo dell'Angelo.
Volo dell'Angelo, the Flight of the Angel, it's called, that connects two different towns. So again, for somebody who's been to Italy a couple times, you're like, what can I do? I'm gonna go to Basilicata, visit Matera, drink some really good wine, and do the zip line, and you can spend, you know, nice couple days doing all of that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Now, I do want to know if there is a favorite food of yours in Basilicata and also in Umbria.
Mhm. Well, again, for me, Umbria, all about lentils. I would think they do a lot of, see, for me, I don't like mushrooms. You'll notice I haven't mentioned mushrooms except for the truffles, but I don't even like those. I don't like mushrooms, so a lot of, especially in Umbria in the mountains, it's all mushroom based. So not as many foods, but I'm a big legume fan. So beans, lentils, and Umbria are definitely my favorite. Basilicata for me,
Pepperoni crusca.
Kruski, yeah, this
Special black pepper.
yeah, it's a pepper, like a smaller bell pepper, not even a bell pepper, a different type of pepper. Not spicy though, like a sweet pepper that's dried, with a little, and then a little olive oil and salt on it, and you eat them like potato chips.
Oh, yum. That's different. That sounds good.
Or powder, yeah,
Powder.
it gives a lot of flavor to foods, and you'll find that
Pepperoni cruschi.
all over Basilicata, yeah.
Like crispy.
You like a
Little-
crispy pepper, yeah.
Pepperoni
Yeah.
cruschi.
Love that.
See
Okay.
them hanging everywhere when you're
Yeah.
in that region. They're just hanging all over farmhouses and restaurants.
Oh, great. That's so fun. That's tasty sounding. Yeah. It's a
Well, I
little
think-
healthier than a potato chip.
I think also in Umbria though, we have Norcia, right?
Yes.
I feel like we didn't give Umbria enough attention, so we'll give it a little bit more love because, you know, even though I'm not into mushrooms, they have a wonderful town called Norcia, which is all about cured meats.
Mhm.
Which is great. We were there, the last time we were there, they actually had a festival going on, celebrating all of these meats and mushrooms. Also,
Oh, how fun.
yeah, but no, they are known also for cured meats. And Norcia, this teeny little town in the middle of nowhere, is in the center of that.
It's a gem.
It's a hidden gem in Umbria.
Mhm.
I would love to meet somebody one time on the plane being like, I'm going to go there for this mushroom and meat festival. That's why I'm on my way to Italy. Hey, it does sound great though. It sounds really interesting, especially if you're around that area. Or like you said, if you're looking for a little more deep dive into Italy or into around those regions. And now I want to transition and move on to Molise.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Molise?
Molise.
Italian. Molise was, Beppe hasn't been there yet, well, except
But I've been-
passing through on the train.
Through it.
And it was of all the 20 regions, it was the last on my list that I went to. Italians even don't know or think that it exists. And in fact, their tourism office now has used the hashtag Il Molise non esiste, which means Molise doesn't exist, right? To let people know that we're actually here and we exist and we have amazing things. So I've just scratched the surface of what there is there. Along the coast, I've been to the coastal town of Termoli. So Molise, right, it's just south of Abruzzo. It actually used to be part of Abruzzo, right? It was the regions were
Mhm.
together, and then I think in the 1950s or 60s they split. The 50s. So it's teeny region that, as I said, even among Italians, they joke that nobody really knows where it is or if anyone lives there. Very small region. It does have a little bit of a coastline, again, with Termoli being the main city there. There's a little castle there. They have, as we mentioned in Abruzzo, they have the Trabocchi. In Molise, they have something similar. It's just called Trabucchi there. So the dialect is different, but those little fishing piers where you can go get a wonderful meal. Going inland, the capital, Campobasso, is in the hills up there. They also have skiing in the Apennines in the winter. One interesting thing, and I'm forgetting the name of the town here, I'm gonna look it up. They have this bell factory where bells have been made for 1,000 years.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Agnone is the name of the town, Agnone, and they still make these bells today. They're kind of bells that are put in a church bell towers.
Big bells. Yeah. Wow.
Big
Beautiful.
bells. So it's an art that they've been doing there now for 1,000 years. So that's just one of the little things that they're quite proud of there. That they claim that no other part of Italy still has this heritage, and just one of the little things that can be discovered in this place that even Italians joke doesn't exist, right? So just scratching that surface. Wonderful seafood, of course. We're right on the coast. They have a seafood stew called a brodetto, which is a wonderful mix of different seafoods. When I went, nobody spoke any English, which was refreshing and great. I mean, you can get by, with hand signals, whatever, but again, for that adventurous traveler, if you're going on your own, it's really a place where you can go and really feel like you're dropped into, for people who think they've seen all of Italy and done it all and want an experience where you feel uncomfortable, you can go on your own. We also know some great companies that actually do tours in that area, local food tours with locals if you want someone to help you out with that. But wonderful region to go into to get some street cred, to be like, I've been to Molise, and to challenge yourself, right, in an area that really they're not used to that many tourists at all, but there are these amazing things to do.
Yeah, it certainly sounds unique in a special way. And there's still plenty to do. You're right. And now, you guys, I want to close with Aostosa Valley.
Aosta Valley or Valle d'Aosta, okay, is the quintessential mountain region. It borders with France, so they're bilingual there, Italian and French. Aosta is the main city, so it's the valley with Aosta as the main city, and then more side valleys. That's the the way Val d'Aosta is the layout of Val d'Aosta. Fairly small. It's known because Mount Blanc is there. Okay, Mount Blanc is the highest peak in Europe, and it's at the border between Italy, Switzerland, and France. The summit is on the French side, so they can claim that the summit is on their side. Yet people visit Mont Blanc also on the French, on the Italian and Swiss side. It's just a couple hours from where we live.
Yeah, it's where we go for a little vacation.
It's just north of Piedmont. There is a spa. There are thermal waters, so it's nice place to spend a weekend, taking advantage of the thermal waters. Of course, there is alpine skiing, cross-country skiing, beautiful hiking. So wildlife is very pristine and untouched. Most of the region is either national or regional park.
Interesting to drive through too, because it is basically just this main valley. I think it has such a high concentration of castles and fortresses. I mean, all over Italy there are castles, but I really feel like driving through Aosta Valley. That's every hill has a dominating fortress on it, right along the line. And many of them are museums open to the public that you can go visit. So interesting to be able to do that. In terms of food,
Mountain wines,
which really surprised us. Some really good red wines, but food-wise, Fontina cheese is from here. And they turn it into a lovely fondue. Of course, they call it fonduta. And then also they have it where it's just not a fondue, but they put it on this little heating thing, so the cheese just drips down.
The raclette.
The raclette, yeah. It's just so good. I just love going up there and eating all the Fontina cheese.
Well, that sounds amazing. And I don't know, I don't think you could ever get enough castles. I will never get tired of like medieval castles. So this just kind of sounds majestic in a sense. So, well, you guys, thank you so much. This has been so much fun to just kind of get a deep dive taste of Italy and talk a little bit more, not only about the, very popular regions, but some of the less popular regions that are also just full of hidden gems. And I know that's what you guys do. So again, Travel Brats, if you are interested in touring Italy to the fullest, go ahead and visit Tourissimo.travel and get in touch with Beppe and Heather, and they can help you with any of your questions and plan a spectacular tour with you. So thank you again, guys. It was so great to have you on, and we will see you next time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, it's your travel brat Nat. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Did you know that we create blogs to go along with all of our episodes? You can check them out at thetravelbrats.com.